Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're here at Clash Endurance Miami. My next guest, Mr. Andre Lopes from Brazil. How you doing, Andre?
I'm doing great, Bob. It's a pleasure to be here. I've always watched your show, and it's an honor to be here with you.
Well, it's an honor to get to chat with you. And I'm looking at your 2021, and Cozumel 7:43:30, 2:48 marathon. That's impressive stuff.
Yeah, 2:48 marathon. Yeah. It was. I grew up in Brazil, so
You like the
I
heat.
like the heat. The heat is my playground.
So you're like this.
Yeah, for sure. The hotter, the better for me. So I did well in that race because of the heat.
So when did you get into all this?
It's a long story, but yeah,
That's why we're here.
Yeah, I went to college in Florianopolis.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Federal University of Florianopolis.
Oh, my God. So you went to school where the triathlon was.
Yeah, no, I actually grew up in São Paulo, but then I went to college whenever.
In Florianopolis.
In Florianopolis,
Yeah.
yes. So, yeah, I grew up. I was staff 1 year from the Ironman, 2013. I saw Tim Mondana win.
Okay.
I think it was the year that he won.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh my God, I saw like people older than my grandma finishing. I was like, wow, I think I can do this.
Yes.
I signed up 2 years later when I got a job and bought my first bike, and I did my first Ironman as a.
Well, wait. So did you start with a sprint or Olympic, or no? You just signed up for Ironman.
Signed up for an Ironman. That was my first move in triathlon. Like with 9 months to go, I signed up for Ironman Brazil, Ironman Florianopolis, and I just did it. And I won my age group and qualified to Kona. Didn't even know what's Kona at the time.
So like, you qualified for Kona. You're like, and that is what?
Yeah, I was like, oh, you got to go to Hawaii and surf? I was like, whoa, I'm in. But I got to do an Ironman? That's even better.
That is so funny. And so how'd you do in Kona that first time?
Actually, I was 6th in my age group, 18 to 24. I had like exactly 13 months of triathlon. And it was, I had a blast in my life. I just like smiled from one face to another.
I bet, the whole time.
Yeah.
So you learned pretty quickly that I'm in the mecca of this thing.
Yes, and I learned pretty quickly that I wanted to race pro because I wanted to race the big guys. I wanted to see how good I knew I had some talent, like I was already training with some pros back in Brazil, Igor Morelli, Thiago Vinhal, and I found out that I wanted to do this as a living, and I wanted to go back to the big islands as a pro.
Well, and I don't think we've had a Brazilian male or female win there.
Nope.
What the hell? What are we waiting for? I remember years ago we were talking about the heat in Kona, and everybody, Mark Allen was like, listen, if it was the heat that mattered, then someone from Brazil, someone from New Orleans, someone like that would win every year. You wouldn't have a Peter Reed from Canada. So it's, but you're a guy from Brazil who loves the heat and can do 7:43. What do you think? Is that something down the line?
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
Is that secret?
Yeah,
double secret.
I'm coming for that.
You and Ryan Bolton. Nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching. I'm just working.
That's the plan.
That's the
you
plan.
and Ryan Bolton are making a plan for you to become the first Brazilian to win the Ironman.
Exactly.
Wow, that is very cool. When did you get to the point? Obviously, you had success right away. You're 6th in your age division. Did you turn pro that following year?
Yeah, actually, I still had 1 more year in college,
Okay.
so I just focused on getting to my degrees. That was my request from my parents to finish my college degree as electrical engineering.
And what's your degree in?
Electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering. So you could get a real job if you wanted to.
Yeah, I was actually working. I told my boss at the time, oh, actually, I'm gonna pursue this triathlon thing. It's like, what are you doing again? So I just have this dream of being a professional athlete. I'm just gonna give it a go. I have dual citizenship. I grew up I was born in Ohio because my dad's a professor.
Yes.
From a university in Brazil, and I just moved back when I was like 8 months old.
Yes.
But then I have the ability to come here and work here, and because it's not easy to make a living in triathlon the first year, so I had to go to all the different jobs.
What were you doing?
I was a busser my first year. I worked as a lifeguard my second year.
Yes.
Swim coach the third year. And
now, are you living here in Florida?
No, I live in Boulder.
In Boulder,
okay. Yeah. I moved there right before COVID hit when I met my girlfriend, Rachel Olsen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, were you one of the guys working with Sam Long on his swimming to help him with his open water?
Yeah, me, Tyler Butterfield.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was telling us that because he kept getting his butt kicked, like at Collins Cup. Those guys, I think in 100 yards, they had 50 yards. Sam Appleton and Jan, they dropped him like a stone. And then when I saw him at St. George at 70.3 Worlds, he was like not that far back.
Nope. He learned Tyler Butterfield. He's been around the block, let's say.
Yes.
And he gave us some great tips, how to start a race, how to position yourself, because open water is all about positioning yourself and getting some good feet.
Yes.
So you can get ahead of the race. So he had an amazing race and led him to second in the world. Sam's a great buddy of mine. I've been training with him since 2019 before we went to Nice together, and I beat him on that race, and now he has beaten me in every single race since then.
I remember Ryan Bolton I covered when he was a triathlete,
Yeah.
when he made the Olympic team in 2000. And he called me and said, this kid's special. This kid's going to be good. So I interviewed him at Nice, and I think he was probably trying to figure out, why does this guy want to interview me? I haven't done anything. But Ryan said, this kid's going to be special. So you see that.
Yeah, I've seen for first eyes the work that he does. It's impressive. I wish I could have worked that hard because I'm relatively new to triathlon, but his body just can handle the load, and it's like he's just beginning right now.
So do you go to the camps then with Ryan Bolton's
Yes.
camps? So you run with the Kenyan runners as well?
Yes.
It's funny because people always are like, why do you keep talking about the Kenyan runners? And I said, because when our athletes, the triathletes, get to train with Caroline Rotich, and they realize what real recovery is, and they realize the training load that they can handle when somebody is, 5 feet tall, maybe?
Yeah.
And she can bury 99% of every triathlete who tries to run with her.
Yeah, no, I actually lived with Ryan in Santa Fe.
Yes.
When I first moved to the US, I contacted Ryan, was my coach. I just started with him. I went to Tucson first with a training camp, and then I went straight to Santa Fe, which is like 7,000 feet, and I started training with Caroline. She was my main training buddy. I wanted to give her a run for her money, and I just like, oh my God, it's a hard job.
She hurt you every day.
Yeah, it was. I always be her rabbit. I'll get her in the first rep, and then she would get me all the other reps.
Wow. And then,
but I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
And you learned about recovery.
The recovery is the most important too as a professional athlete. You gotta sleep. Sleep is the number one. And the Kenyans, they have a pretty simple lifestyle, and they sleep half of their day.
That's the thing, is they'll sleep 9-10 hours at night and another 2-3 hours during the day. But we think when we're recovering, we're doing social media, we're going to the grocery store. That's not recovery. Real recovery is being comatose for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Very fun. When did you get to the point as a pro where you felt like, okay, I can hang with these guys?
I think the first year was like my third year in triathlon, so I was just getting my feet in the water. I wanted to get my butt kicked.
Yeah,
I was like,
because you got to find out what you need to work on.
Yeah, I got to race against the best. If I want to stay in Brazil and just like race the local guys, I might do well, but I'm not gonna get the experience that I need to be successful in the long. Because me and Ryan, we have like a 10-year plan, and I'm like, this is my 5th year with him, and we're just like, building the base, building the engine to be like successful in the future. Because no one comes out of the blue and just win Kona, No.
Like except for Chrissy Wellington, that was about it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been a process, and it's.
So do you look at this year, 2021, where you, like I said, 7:43 at Cozumel, that 2:48 marathon? That's
because I missed the finish shoot.
I'm sorry?
That's because I missed the finish shoot on that race. I was gonna run a 2:45 and get 3rd place, and the lead bike led me wrong. I was in 3rd place. Yes.
Oh,
I was gonna already have my Kona slot.
Wait, that kept you from a Kona slot?
Yes, I was in 4th place the whole race and passed the 3rd guy with 3 miles to go.
Yeah.
I was like fighting for death, and I just fall on the lead bike, and there was a chute that you had to take, simple chute that you had to take to the finish line, but it had coned out.
Yes.
But the lead bike led me around, and I had to go around, start the far loop, and I was like, where's the finish line? I was like, I don't know, like the finish line is right there. You got to go back. I had to like loop back, because it was
you lost 2 spots?
I lost 2 spots, but it was a super close race. We were running like almost like a minute from each other the whole race. And I was like, oh no. But I mean, I knew that proved to me that was my first Ironman. The plan was to do my first Ironman as a pro with 4 years in the sport, for 4 or 5 years. And I was like, whoa. I had a really good swim. I had a really good bike, and I had an amazing run, even though I was even training for it.
So that was your first ever Ironman? I mean, as a pro?
As a pro.
Okay.
Yes.
First, for your pro debut, 7:43:30.
Yeah, it was a fast day, but you got to go fast.
I mean, Cozumel has a fast swim. We know that. But 4:11 bike and 2:48 marathon, that's the real deal.
Yeah.
And Cozumel is a good indicator for Kona just because of the heat.
Yes.
And normally they have wind. I think this year was not that windy.
No wind, but they had humidity.
Yeah,
they had.
Like crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
What do you look at as, obviously that's an amazing race. But what do you look at? Do you look at that as your best race ever?
Yeah, I think that was my best performance ever, because I feel like me and Ryan have been training for the longer distance, and you cannot do everything. I mean, Christian Blumenfeld can do everything good.
Yeah.
But I mean, as like an upcoming athlete, you gotta focus on something, and I've been focused on the longer distance. my focus has been to get speed on the 70.3s, but Ironman is the ultimate goal because I feel like that's where I started and when I'm like performing my career in triathlon. But I gotta go through the process of getting the swim speed to be able to do an Ironman at like a comfort level in Sweden. Get the speed, the power on the bike, so the Ironman endurance power feels easier.
Right.
And then run is my strength. I feel like running is like what I'm gonna shine, and that's where I'm working towards to be good at.
For the race this weekend or Friday, it's a midday start, which is great for you.
Yeah.
Right? It'll be hot. It'll be windy. Do you like the idea that it's a road course and you have to be able to bike handle?
Yeah, I love the idea that has breaks a little bit from Daytona. I did Daytona 2020. It was like sitting on the trainer and doing FTP tests for an hour and 40 minutes. And here you get your break. There's a little bit of technical parts on the course. It's not my favorite course.
Right.
It's just like a Kickstarter for the year just to get like the engine going. But I'm excited to see what I haven't. And I didn't take a long break after Cozumel, so I feel like I'm fitter than previous years.
Right.
And I'm ready to give it a fight for, who knows, top 5.
Yes.
That would be a good goal for me.
And then is the next race Oceanside?
Oceanside is the next race, yes.
And then what? What's the rest of the season?
And then I'm doing 7.2 Chattanooga, but the big goal is Ironman Des Moines.
Des Moines, and you want to go win that one.
Yeah, or shoot for the podium and get a Kona slot.
We got to go back to Kona.
I work in small staff. Like, I know I have some work to do. The guys on the front, the guys who are winning Ironmans are really.
They're really good.
They're really good, and I know I have to still need like 1-2 more years to like really fight with those guys. But who knows, if they make a mistake, I'm gonna be coming from behind.
You know what I love is because I remember there was a point there where Sam left Ryan, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a mistake because he would go off and do 8 Ironmans a year if Ryan wasn't there holding him back.
Exactly.
And then fortunately he came back. You've had the patience from the beginning to understand this is a 10-year plan.
Yeah.
And I'm 4 or 5 years into it. But
Yeah.
look at what you've done already. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, every year I was like, I'm getting 5% better. I like my learning curve has been really like consistent. It hasn't been like 20% better a year.
No,
but
it's your body gets used to the load.
Yeah, because I get injured if I push too much, and I've got injured like in my previous years. And
what injuries have you had?
just like muscle strength,
Right.
Like just because I'm pushing too hard,
Right.
working too hard on the gym, like doing too much.
Yes.
And my body just, because I don't come from like a swimming, biking, or running pedigree.
Right.
And yeah, everything's new for me. So I have a big engine, but like I still have to like taper with my muscles and like be consistent with my training.
Right. Love it. Yeah. Andre, such a pleasure to get to spend time with you.
No, pleasure's mine, Bob.
All right, Andre Lopes has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob. We are here at Clash Endurance Miami. Hold on. We'll be right back.